Welcome, welcome, friends. Dr. Kenberry here, coming to you from deep in the woods of Midwestern Tennessee. I have got a very special treat to share with you today. People in my private community already knew that I was part of this new documentary that's going to be dropping soon. It's called Animal, and it's about the carnivore diet, and it's about humanity, and it's about healing our planet. It's about all that stuff wrapped up with a bow on top. And today I have the producer of Animal, who's a world famous producer, that we're going to chat with for a few minutes. And then I'm going to give you a sneak peek of the world premiere of the Animal documentary trailer. And no one else in the world has seen this outside of just a few people behind the scenes who were working on it and people who starred in it. And so I think that you're going to want to share this with all your friends. This is going to be a big deal. You may know I've been part of documentaries in the past, but never anything of the caliber of this documentary. This is world-class stuff. We don't know yet, I don't think, what platforms this is going to be on, but this is good enough quality that it could be on Apple TV, it could be on Netflix, Amazon, it could be on any of those, and maybe wind up being on several of those. But I highly encourage you to share this link right now with a friend so you guys can watch this world premiere trailer together. Hey, Coach Mitzi. Okay, let me bring up Josh. And I'm going to tell you, hey, Josh, good to see you again, my friend. This is Josh Felman. He's an award-winning producer and director known for launching Viacom Networks in Africa and creating top international formats across multiple countries. His credits include The Voice, Nigeria, Shark Tank, South Africa, Fear Factor, India. He has founded several production companies, and he's earned 3 SAFTA awards for his work. Welcome, Josh.
Thank you very much for having me, Dr. Berry. Great to see you again.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure. Last time we saw each other, I think, was in a steak restaurant as we were smashing some steak.
We were smashing some very fine steak there. We were.
Absolutely. So we're here today to see the world premiere of the trailer of this new carnivore documentary called Animal. Tell us, when did you first hear about it? Hey, nice hat. I've got mine somewhere. I don't know where it is, or I would be wearing it too. Tell us how did this idea come to you? Did somebody approach you with this? I want to chat with you a few minutes while everybody watching this, all 956 of you guys, you need to share this link right now so that people can brag one day to their grandchildren. I saw the world premiere of the trailer for the Animal documentary. Please share this link right now with everybody. You can share it on social media, send it in an email, WhatsApp, text message. Get all your friends watching this so we can all watch this premiere together, the premiere of the trailer together. So tell me, Josh, where did Animal come from?
It's quite a long story, Dr. Berry. I think it really goes all the way back to my own family history. So in the late 60s, my mom, who is British, took a pill called Primados, which you may have heard of. Some of the audience may well be familiar with it. And my brother, late 60s, 1969, was born with numerous conditions as a result of this pharmaceutical pill. And so, I grew up with a brother who was very much special needs. And so I think from a very early age, I became very interested in, where did this pill come from that affected my brother so badly? What happened to him? And are there other people in the world that have been so very badly affected from a pharmaceutical perspective? And so, I moved into an entertainment and film-based career at quite a young age. I always knew that I wanted to make television shows and documentary films, big feature films, etc. And so I started doing that, creating my own production companies, post-production companies from the early 20s. And increasingly, after I'd made shows like Survivor, so I did 3 seasons of Survivor South Africa. As you mentioned, I directed Shark Tank, The Voice Nigeria, which I produced, and numerous other shows. I really started to move towards a place of wanting to create material that elevates humanity in some respect. And so, there's no better way to kind of do that than bring yourself back to your own experience. So, I've been wanting to come to the States for a very long time, and our executive producer, Vinny Lingham, and I had been talking about, doing some things together for a while. So he was one of the sharks on Shark Tank. And so, we kind of sat down and started shooting the breeze on what we could make together. And I said, well, this is what is very close to my heart. I have a healing agenda in everything that I want to make in my career going forward. And simultaneously, I suppose you could say by way of fate, a little bit of kismet, Vinny himself had been on the carnivore diet, having experienced his family having experienced numerous issues with things like diabetes. So his entire family kind of predisposed towards diabetes, and he himself had gone into carnivore diet and couldn't stop telling me about it. And at that stage, I was relatively unfamiliar with the benefits of a keto diet and a carnivore diet. I was like, okay, let me check this out and see if our two agendas, our two worlds combine, and they absolutely did. So I went full carnivore, in order to understand what it does for yourself. Full carnivore for 4 months. And I can honestly say, hand on my heart, I have never felt better. Okay, I mean, I'm quite a healthy guy anyway. I go to gym every day. I do a lot of hot yoga. But you kind of think that you're healthy enough. You reach that point where you think you're just healthy enough.
Yeah.
And you realize.
And I say this all the time, Josh. People get used to their normal. And
Right.
most people's normal is chronically inflamed, chronic brain fog, chronic fatigue. They're just tired and miserable all the time, but they're tired and miserable every day. So that just feels like normal. So they're like, I guess this is what adult life feels like. And I've heard this same thing that you just said echoed in the voices of millions of people. I didn't know how good I could feel at this age until I tried 2, 3, 4 months of carnivore. And all of a sudden, it's like the floodgates were open. It's like the shades were lifted. It's like the curtains were parted. All of a sudden, I had all this energy and I had all this mental clarity that I didn't think that I even had access to that anymore. So I totally hear what you're saying. And I know many of our listeners do as well. And to our listeners out there, all 1,500 of you, hit the thumbs up or the heart right now and tell us where you're watching from in the comments. That stimulation will tell the algorithm this is very important stuff that people need to be watching. Go ahead, Josh.
There we go. Thank you very much. So having done that part of the research, I realized that this is a story that we need to tell. Because I couldn't, other than you, okay, and the other doctors who are speaking in the space, I couldn't find a truly enigmatic, incredible piece of material, a singular piece of material that spoke to the power of everything that you're saying in one go. Okay, so I know there are bits and pieces of shorts that are out there, and we're talking about a year and a half ago now. Some short documentaries, some short little films that have been made, etc., but not a feature length, a full length documentary feature film. So we brought Kevin on board as well, our co-producer. So the three of us really started to kind of brainstorm think about what this thing needed to look like. And I got to writing. I sat down, I started writing it. I spoke to you. I spoke to Dr. Anthony Chafee and many others. And I found you. I found you in Nashville.
Yep.
If you remember, found you over steak in Nashville for the first time. And that's when I started chatting to you about how we could get you and others involved, what my thinking was around it. And we were able to get that together and bring you to LA to film in the way that I wanted to film. And that's kind of how we made this thing work.
Yep. And I loved it. I had a great time out in LA with you and the crew. Biggest crew I've ever seen on any kind of production I've been a part of. So here in just another minute or two, stick with us because we're going to be letting you have a sneak peek at the world premiere of the Animal Carnivore Documentary trailer. That's coming up just in another minute or two. I just wanted to give everybody a chance to get on here, get settled, get ready, invite some of their friends so we can all watch this together as a worldwide tribe. I just saw somebody from Tanzania is watching this. So we've got people from 6 continents. I don't know if we have anybody from Antarctica. If so, please pop up in the comments. I keep waiting for somebody from Antarctica. I don't think they have a very large population. Tell me in the comments, guys, are you guys ready to watch this trailer? The production level of this is head and shoulders above anything you've seen so far in the keto space, in the carnivore space. I don't think there's been anything like this done before. This has a level of production and a level of post-production that you're just not going to see anywhere else. You're going to see production quality like this on Apple TV or on Max or on Prime or on something like that. This is not a YouTube documentary. This is something much, much bigger than that. So please invite your friends right now. Let's get the views up to as many as we can. Here's somebody from Portugal right now. We got Georgia. We got Oklahoma. We got Alabama. We got everybody in the house. Everybody invite a friend. In about 1 or 2 minutes, we're going to watch this trailer. You'll be the first people on planet Earth to have ever seen this Animal Carnivore Documentary trailer. So get ready for that coming up in a minute. Set this up for us, Josh. Give us the setup, and then we're going to watch this trailer.
Okay, so this is the very first trailer that everybody is going to see. That we've not released any snippets at all up until this point. This is what we call the 60-second teaser trailer, which in due course will be followed by the full length trailer. So I think that what this is designed to do is really to get everybody to kind of stand up and go, oh my goodness, what is that? What is it that you guys are trying to say? Because from what I can see in this teaser trailer, it looks absolutely epic. That's what we tried to capture. So the essence of everything that you speak about, Dr. Berry, and everyone else in this space is I believe that we've captured it in this teaser trailer, and then obviously more so in the full length trailer. And I hope that everybody feels the absolute incredible energy that we poured into making this thing.
I love it. Okay. Are you ready to watch this trailer? We're up to 2,000 people watching this live right now. So that was kind of my cutoff. I want to have at least 2,000 people see this all at the same time. And I think when you guys see this, you're going to be blown away at just the quality and the level of production. And I'll tell you guys, I have seen, I don't think it was the final cut, Josh, but at the recent carnivore conference I was at in the Smoky Mountains, we had a pirated copy that our mutual friend Zane Griggs had. And so I have seen the thing, but I think there's still some post-production happening. I think it's going to be even sharper than what I saw in the Great Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. So let me pull this up. Is everybody ready? Are you ready to see this? Because I'm telling you, this is something else. All right, here it is, right here. Okay, now I'm sharing the screen. Now let me go back here and I want to make it as big as possible.
Awesome.
Okay. I'll tell you what, Josh, I'm going to take me and you out. Doesn't help. I thought that would make it the full screen. Okay. So you guys turn your volume up and get ready to be impressed with this. All right, here we go. There it is, guys. That's the trailer, the teaser trailer right there. You are the first people on planet Earth to ever see this outside of the production crew. That gives me goosebumps, Josh. That makes me very, very happy to have been. I'm honored to have been a part of that. You guys tell me. Black screen, did not see anything. Oh, wait, what happened? What? Nobody could see it? We didn't see it? Oh, okay. All right. Nobody saw it? Where's the beef? No one saw it. Okay. Let's try it again. Did you see it, Josh?
I couldn't see it on my side, no.
Oh, okay. All right, let me try again. Share
Right.
screen. I've done this before. This is not my first time. That should have worked. Okay, let me back it up here. Okay, can you see it on the screen now?
There we go. Yeah.
You do. Okay, here we go, guys. I'm sorry. That was just a teaser of the teaser. Now we're going to watch it for real. Here we go.
We're too good of hunters. We came out of the trees not to eat the grass, but to eat the grass eaters.
Meat is without question the most nutrient-dense food that human beings can eat.
We're all getting sick. How can an ancient diet cause a new disease? And everything made sense at that point. We're carnivores, but we're not living as carnivores.
When we replace meat with grains, we get sicker and fatter.
How did we lose our humanity? What's taken us off track?
There's only one set of facts. We are just better designed and more efficient at getting nutrition from meat.
What you're putting in your mouth, it's either leading to health or harm. We should be nourishing our bodies with the right foods and eating more.
Gotta remember where we came from and what our food should be.
It will change your life.
All right, guys, there it is. And as you can see, it's coming out June the 20th. We saw it that time, right? Everybody saw it? Wow. Okay, good. Okay, you guys tell me in the comments, what did you think about that? That's pretty decent, right? For those of you guys who have been with me for years, you know I've been part of a couple other documentaries. It's kind of not even worth saying the term, but this is a new thing. Yep. Goosebumps, outstanding, cool. Wow. Yes. Awesome. I totally agree, Sharon. Can't wait. Goldilocks says. Amy's, very nice. Love it. And I tell you what, let's talk about that, Josh, for a few minutes while everybody tells me in the comments, what'd you feel about that? How'd that make you feel? How'd that hit you? I want to know, because intellectually, so many of us know, Josh, that a carnivore diet, when you try it, it eliminates all of the inflammatory stuff in your diet. It eliminates all the junk. You're left with nothing but just nutrient dense, ancestrally appropriate, uninflammatory, real human food. Yeah. And it stands to reason that if you're sick, inflamed, if you have mental health issues, you should be eating the purest, most ancestrally appropriate diet that you can possibly eat. If any diet's going to help your health, it will be that diet, correct? That seems like common sense. But I think what you're going for in this documentary, and I think we need this in the carnivore proper human diet community, is to grab that heart and to squeeze that heart a little bit and say, hey, not only is this intellectually important, this is emotionally important. If you have people you love, family, friends, neighbors, this is a big deal. This is not just some kind of dietary fad that's going to come and go. This is a rediscovery of the proper human diet.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that one of the things that I have really worked hard to do in the film is to, with your assistance and everybody who appears in the film, is to try and get people to a place of remembering how to listen to their body. I think that we have largely, as a species, we've gotten so caught up in the noise of everything else that is coming at us from a marketing perspective, from what these guys are saying, what those guys are saying. And so we've lost the ability to really listen to what we know is good for us, what we know is right. We get so caught up in the busyness of our lives, in our stressful lives, running the rat race, that whatever is most convenient off the shelves as you're running to get to your next appointment or to fetch your kids from school has become the humanity's norm. We've stopped listening to what it is our bodies are saying. And I really, from an intentional perspective, I really hope that people take that from this movie, that they start to listen to what it is their bodies need. And if they need help, they can come to you and say, I don't know what I'm feeling. Can you help me? What is it that I don't know what I should be feeling, because I've lost complete touch. So they come to you and they say, well, hey, doc, what do I do?
Yeah.
And that's
I think your point is so valid. When people are eating an ultra processed inflammatory diet, they're miserable. They're mentally slower. They're mentally cloudy. They have lost all contact with their body. The body-brain connection is just not, they can't hear anything. And what I liken it to is if you went to some urban city and you found somebody who's on meth or trank, right? And they're just there on the street, and you walked up to them and you said, hey, how do you feel? Like most of us, they'd probably be like, oh, I'm good. Even though they're literally homeless on the street, high on a drug that's destroying their health, destroying their life, they'd be like, no, this is a pretty good day, I guess. Same for a severe alcoholic. You ask them, they're like, oh yeah, I'm okay. I'm doing all right. I'm getting by. Having no idea how sick their body is, how sick their brain, how inflamed they are. They have no connection to that. And I think this documentary, unlike any other I've seen, is going to help people understand. Because when you say this, Josh, most people think they think you're talking woo-woo. When you say, I got immediate feedback from my body when I eat something I shouldn't have eaten, or my body's giving me good feedback. They're like, what is that woo-woo? You don't get feedback from your body. I mean, if you touch a hot stove, you'll get feedback, sure, but from the food you're eating, you don't get any feedback from that. And I think you can only know what that feels like when you've eliminated all the inflammatory junk and you've just eaten real human food for a month, 2 months, 3 months to calm down the inflammation and to regain the mental acuity and to reconnect the brain to the body. Then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I see what you're saying now. My body can actually talk to me. It can give me immediate feedback if I do something smart or if I do something stupid. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, so just from a personal research perspective, as I said, I'm a pretty healthy guy. As I say, go for walks every day. I spend 60 to 90 minutes in the gym at that stage before I went on carnivore. 60 to 90 minutes. I went on carnivore. Immediately, I had this clarity of thought. The brain fog lifted, and I was like, "Oh my goodness! I can actually think clearly."
Right. But if I had told you that, Josh, a year before that happened, hey, if you'll start eating nothing but meat, you'll have much better mental clarity. Be honest. What would you have said a year before you actually did that experiment? What would you have said to me if I'd said that to you?
But it would have been like, I think just fine. I get all my tasks done during, everything I need to get done during the day, I get done. Maybe I get a little bit tired in the afternoon,
Who doesn't? Who doesn't? Right?
Yeah. But I feel okay. I think, I go to bed at 10, 11 o'clock at night, and I sort of sleep just okay. But oh my goodness, what a radical shift in my entire life for myself as a healthy guy. It was incredible. Yeah. And then energy levels.
Let's take a question from the audience, and then you guys tell me in the comments, do you want to watch it one more time? Sorry, I flubbed it up the first time. That was not intentional. But tell me yes or no in the comments if you want to watch it again while Josh answers this question from Marina. Where can we watch this, Josh? Where's it going to be?
Such a good question. So it drops on June the 20th. It's going to be that's going to be in select theaters, and it's going to be on select digital streaming sites. So we'll release that to you. So keep watching all of Doc's feeds, and he'll tell you exactly where you'll be able to see it.
Love it. And then the next question from Wendy: where can she get that hat?
Oh, and the shirt as well.
Yeah, and the shirt. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you'll be able to get that from our website. We'll have the hats and the shirts and all the merch that you want from the film will be available on the website.
Beautiful. And I'll add a link to the merch down in the show notes. It's not there right now, but if you're watching this on the replay, it should be in there. Let's see if everybody wants to watch this again. Everybody's saying they want to watch it again. Is that okay with you, Josh, if we watch it again?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. All right. Okay. Here we go. Let me see I'm going to do this.
We're too good of hunters. We came out of the trees not to eat the grass, but to eat the grass eaters.
Meat is without question the most nutrient-dense food that human beings can eat.
We're all getting sick. How can an ancient diet cause a new disease? And everything made sense at that point. We're carnivores, but we're not living as carnivores.
When we replace meat with grains, we get sicker and fatter.
How did we lose our humanity? What's taken us off track?
There's only one set of facts. We are just better designed and more efficient at getting nutrition from meat.
What you're putting in your mouth, it's either leading to health or harm. We should be nourishing our bodies with the right foods and eating more.
Got to remember where we came from and what our food should be.
It will change your life.
All right, there it is. June the 20th. And like Josh said, he's going to give me the inside scoop on where it's going to be and when the official release is. So make sure you're subscribed to my social media, whether you're watching this on Twitter or Facebook or on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed and got notifications turned on so that when I drop, hey, Animals Live, here's where you can watch it. You'll be one of the very, very first people to know. Now, Josh, tell us who all is in this documentary.
Ooh, very good question. Should I reveal everything? Do you think?
Okay. Let's just say that there are some rather large personalities from the carnivore community in this documentary. And if you want to say more, because I don't want to steal any thunder, you tell me what you're willing to share.
All right. Well, yeah. So, you're in every chapter. So the way that I structured the film, and I guess there's a little sneak peek nugget of how the film is told, how it unfolds. There are 7 key headline chapters in the film. There were numerous topics that I spent many months whittling down, but arrived at a point where there are 7 very specific chapters, and you appear in every single one of those and speak to those, as does Dr. Anthony Chafee. We have an incredibly powerful appearance from Dr. Kiltz.
Yes.
He's in there too. And I think maybe I can just speak to a little bit about what he kind of gets us to, is that place of understanding where we came from as a species. So that primal ancient place. How did we become the apex predators of this planet? And there's some really magical stuff that I've really enjoyed putting into the film from Dr. Kiltz on that particular aspect. We've got a very interesting appearance by Steak and Butter Gal in let me say it, in Wyoming. Okay,
Yes.
we filmed her in Wyoming. And we may or may not get to see a few little bits and pieces of her at her actual wedding as well. Okay.
Okay. There might be a carnivore wedding in this documentary.
That's right. So she speaks to us from Wyoming in that context. Wyoming's so beautiful, by the way. So there's that. The Sally Norton is in it. So there is an entire chapter dedicated to the question of plants. So, always the question is going to be, well, can I add any plants into my diet? If I go carnivore, am I allowed to eat a little bit of this? Should I have a little bit of that? And so we address that in the film.
Excellent.
Yeah. And so that's just a few little bits and pieces, right?
Excellent. Does anybody have any questions for Josh before we let him go? Because are you in South Africa right now? Where in the world are you, Josh?
Right now, I'm in Johannesburg, South Africa. Yeah, I'll be returning to Austin, Texas next week.
So it's what time 30 there right now?
It is 10:32 p.m. right here, right now.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not too bad. I didn't know what the time shift would be. If you guys want to, I'm going to let Josh go because it's almost his bedtime. He goes to bed early. So if you got any questions for Josh, I think Josh's family's from the UK, Jammer Travels, but you currently live in South Africa, correct?
Well, I made the move to Texas.
Austin, so, nice.
Yeah. So living in Austin now, but to answer that question that somebody just put on the feed. So my family are from the UK, but I was born and for the most part raised in South Africa.
Nice. Lisa says, no question, Josh, just a huge thank you. And I totally agree. Let's see if we've got anything else.
Thank you, Tammy.
Target prime rib. Carnivore has helped me on my path to reverse my diabetes and to never lose any more toes or worse. I can tell Target prime rib has been down the road of type 2 diabetes and went way too far down that road. But the only time it's too late is when you're in the pine box and they're lowering you into the ground. And so I guarantee you Target prime rib's not ready to give up. He's ready to regain as much of his life as he can, minus maybe a few toes. But hey, you know what? Toes don't make a man, although most men would like to keep all their toes. So thank you, Target Prime Rib, for that. I think he has a meat-heavy YouTube channel. If anybody wants to check out his channel, let me see. I'm trying to see if I see any questions. We're going to watch this trailer one more time here in a few minutes. Oh, yes. Okay. Here's a question. Do you have a page or an account where people can follow you?
I do for sure. My sort of everything that I make and create is I drop little bits and pieces from my personal site. It's Joshua One Son on Instagram. That's my kind of primary channel. But everything around the film you'd be able to find through Doc here, and then we've got our animal feed, which is Animal Doc Film.
Animal Doc Film.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. And so is there Animal Dot Film?
Doc as in
Animal
Doc.
Okay. Is there a period in there somewhere so that it's a
No. It's just
Okay,
one
so
word.
if they just search animal doc film, all one word, they'll
That's
find it on whatever social media they're on.
correct.
Perfect. I love it. I love it. I love it. And you live in Austin, Texas now. So you're a
I
Texan.
do.
Do you
I
have
just, yeah.
have you got some cowboy boots yet?
I am been looking for cowboy boots. Any suggestions as to where to get the best ones? Bring it on. I do have a cowboy hat, but I don't have boots yet.
You need some Lucchese's. That's what you need. Okay.
Okay. Got it.
And don't pronounce it Lucchese or they will throw you out of the store. It's Lucchese. But they have some of the best boots in the world. Josh,
Okay.
I'm going to let you go. Any final words before you go?
Yeah. First of all, I really hope that everybody finds the great message, which is completely aligned to everything that you say, Dr. Berry, which is fundamentally about healing humanity. That is what this film is ultimately about. Everything that we're trying to get to in every chapter, really, truly, is about bringing humanity back to a place of absolute health. And I just hope that everybody can feel that in the film.
Excellent. I just put in the comments, guys, if you want to search for it, Animal Doc Film. I actually typed it out in the comments. Josh, thank you so much for all of your tireless work on this documentary. I can't wait to be able to watch this in the theater or on the big screen in my home. Either way, you guys watching this right now, just keep an eye on my social media. I will drop it as soon as I know where you can view this, where you can purchase this documentary, etc. I will post it all over my social medias as soon as I know. Josh Felman, producer, thank you so much for the work you've done on this, and thank you for joining us today and this evening in South Africa.
And Dr. Berry, thank you so much for being such an incredible part of this film. Really appreciate you. Thank you.
My pleasure. It was a pleasure and an honor. I had a great time, and I cannot wait to see the finished product. Thank you so much, Josh Felman.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you, Doc.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, guys. Do you want to watch it one more time or do you not want to? Tell me in the comments. I'm going to watch, and if we get enough yeses, I'll play it for you guys again, because I think every time you watch it, you're like, oh, I didn't catch that part the first time. So tell me in the comments if you want to watch it one more time. We definitely will do it, and then I'm going to answer some questions from you guys until we come up on the end of the hour. I'm seeing a few yeses. Oh, there's some more yeses. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, yes, yes. Okay, let me pull it up, and I'm going to try to make it big screen so that you can get as much detail as you possibly can. Okay, sharing the screen. Okay, let me start this over.
We're too good of hunters. We came out of the trees not to eat the grass, but to eat the grass eaters.
Meat is without question the most nutrient-dense food that human beings can eat.
We're all getting sick. How can an ancient diet cause a new disease? And everything made sense at that point. We're carnivores, but we're not living as carnivores.
When we replace meat with grains, we get sicker and fatter.
How did we lose our humanity? What's taken us off track?
There's only one set of facts. We are just better designed and more efficient at getting nutrition from meat.
What you're putting in your mouth, it's either leading to health or harm. We should be nourishing our bodies with the right foods and eating more.
Gotta remember where we came from and what our food should be.
It will change your life.
All right. How exciting, right? How exciting that is. I cannot wait for you guys to be able to see the full thing. Okay, now we've got a good chunk of time left. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have about carnivore, about the lion diet, about ketovore, about keto, about low carb. I'm even happy to answer questions about a vegan diet, vegetarian diet, any way of eating that you're currently questioning or have questions about. Ask your questions in the comments. I've got 3 here. Here's one from the Would You Rather guy. How to heal from histamine intolerance on the carnivore diet. What is the relationship between histamine sensitivity and oxalates? So there's a lot of overlap because oxalates in your body cause inflammation. And anytime you have inflammation, that's going to cause a histamine release, among other things. And so for many people, going carnivore reduces the amount of oxalates, lectins, phytates, eponephrines, phytoestrogens, and many, many other phytochemicals that are in plants. They're in the leaves of the plants, in the blooms, in the seeds, in the roots. Plants can't run away and hide from you like a cow or a deer. They can't run or kick you or bite you. They just have to stand there. And the way they defend themselves is by putting chemical toxins in their flesh, in their leaves, especially in their seeds. The seeds of a plant is the plant's babies. And so for many people, they have chronic inflammation with histamine release because of their daily oxalate consumption. Some people, when they go carnivore, they have what's called oxalate dumping. So the histamine can actually get worse for a few weeks, maybe a month or two during carnivore. But then once you've gotten the majority of the oxalates out of your body, you don't have that histamine response anymore. You don't have that inflammation anymore. And most people are very, very happy after about 3 months of beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. Thank you very much, Target Prime Rim. I appreciate the super chat. This is Marnie Max says, "Go tell it on the mountain." That's a Christian song. I love it. And then Marina says, "Is it bad to fast with gastritis?" Actually, no. For most people with gastritis, fasting actually will help it heal faster. But now you may have a little more pain, but that's going to probably help it heal faster, Marina. Okay, now let's go back and see if we've got any questions. Yeah, here's a great one from Gina. "I have terrible kidney stones. They say I should not eat meat." Now, here's the problem. 85% of all kidney stones are calcium oxalate stones. We were just talking about oxalates, weren't we? So if there are no oxalates in meat or eggs or fish to speak of, 99.999% of all the oxalates you get are from plants. And so the majority of people who have a kidney stone, it's a calcium oxalate stone. When they stop eating oxalates, they don't have enough oxalates in their body anymore to make more kidney stones. And I actually have a YouTube video on my YouTube channel about kidney stones. It has nothing to do with eating meat. Eating meat will help you have less kidney stones, not more. Here's Earmuff Hugger says, "I'm a sugar addict. Millions and millions of people in America and maybe 1 billion people around the world are sugar addicts. It's very common to be a sugar addict. And since it's so socially acceptable, a lot of us aren't aware, because if you're a meth addict, you get immediate feedback, negative feedback from your family, from your job, from your friends, from the police. You get lots of negative feedback that this is a bad addiction. You need to do something about this. But with sugar addiction, the negative feedback you get is really only from your body, and it only happens over years or decades. And so, if somebody's smoking meth and they smoke meth 3 times a day, every time they smoke, it hurts their body. But also when their friends see them smoke it, they're like, "Dude, I can't be your friend if you're smoking meth." Negative feedback. Their boss says, "Hey, I'm going to fire your ass because you're smoking meth." Negative feedback. Right? Then the police come and arrest you because you stole your neighbor's lawnmower to sell it to buy more meth. Negative feedback. You get significant amount of negative feedback if you're an alcoholic, if you're addicted to some drug. Even these days, if you're addicted to cigarettes, if you're still a smoker, light up a cigarette in a restaurant. See what kind of negative social feedback you get. But with sugar addiction, if you go to a restaurant and eat a big bowl of Lucky Charms with chocolate milk and have 2 pieces of toast, which is starch, breaks down into sugar, and a big glass of orange juice, which is a glass of sugar, literally nobody is going to say anything negative to you about it. The restaurant's going to thank you for coming and say, "Come back anytime." Right? Then you go to another restaurant and you have a big bagel, you have a big croissant for lunch. Starch equals sugar. right? And then you have a big fat chocolate hot fudge cake for dessert, pure sugar. Literally nobody disowns you. Nobody unfriends you on Facebook. The police don't arrest you. It's totally fine socially to do that, but you're still a sugar addict and you're still damaging your body each and every time you do that. And so sugar addiction is, I think, the greatest unrealized addiction that humanity suffers from right now. And we definitely have an illicit drug problem here in the United States. Definitely. No doubt about that. But you get such immediate social feedback. Even if you're a very successful, wealthy businessman and you're snorting a little Coke here and there, sooner or later, somebody's going to find out. Sooner or later, the cops are going to come get you. Sooner or later, it's going to affect your business. You're going to have social consequences. But with sugar addiction, you don't have that. You can go 30, 40 years just living on sugar, living on Pepsi Cola, Doritos, and jelly donuts. You'll have plenty of friends. Your boss won't fire you. You'll wind up having fatty liver and metabolic syndrome and hypertension and type 2 diabetes. You'll wind up losing your toes. You'll wind up going blind. But that happens decades down the road. When you're young, when you're in your teens or 20s, you're not thinking about, hey, I'm going to lose my right foot when I'm 55 years old because I'm eating this junk. You don't think about that. Most people, we're not trained in modern society to think 10 years down the road, 20 years, 30 years. Does that make sense? Here's a great question from Eleni. What's the best way to start my kids, 4-year-old boy and 12-year-old girl, on carnivore? Does it need to be gradual? Yes. So first of all, I don't think that every human on planet Earth needs to be a carnivore. I think every human on planet Earth needs to eat meat and eggs. That needs to be part of every human on planet Earth's diet. You cannot have adequate nutrition if you're not eating meat and eggs, unless you're taking 10 or 15 different supplement pills every day, a big handful of supplements, then maybe you can squeak by. So, Eleni, for your kids, just every time you go to the supermarket, stop buying one ultra-processed thing. Let's say that they love Fruit Loops. Don't buy them anymore. And then start cooking bacon and eggs for breakfast every morning. If they're not hungry, they can go play. You don't yell at them. They're just like, hey, where's the Lucky Charms? Be like, oh, honey, I forgot to buy them. I'm so sorry. But I made you some bacon and eggs, and I also got some blueberries here. You want that? If not, go play. It's fine. It'll be here when you're hungry. Right? Very gentle. You don't never yell at them about food. That's how you create eating disorders, right? And so then lunch, we're going to have some turkey or some ham or a hamburger patty with some cheese on top. Oh, I forgot to buy the Doritos, honey. I'm so sorry. But I did get you this instead. And so each time you go to the supermarket, you're going to buy less and less junk, more and more real whole human food. And for each meal, there's always going to be meat. And I'll tell you what Nisha and I do with Beckett and Bonnie. The rule is you eat your meat first. Yeah, you can have some blueberries. You can have some avocado. You can have some olives. You can have some strawberries or raspberries. But you always eat your meat first. And we don't have to, they love meat. So they're like, oh, okay. Sometimes they're like, I want blueberries. Okay, here, eat your sausage. Here, eat your bologna. Here, eat your hamburger. Here, eat your pieces of steak I've cut up for you. They're fine. They're like, oh, boom. Okay, yeah, I like steak anyway. And so they wind up eating the most nutrient-dense food on planet Earth. And then for a treat, they don't get a Pop-Tart. They don't get a toaster strudel. They don't get a donut. They don't get Doritos. They get blueberries. And they love it because they don't know any different. Beckett and Bonnie, Beckett's 5.5, Bonnie's 2.5. They've never tasted a Dorito. They don't even know what that is. Forever, Bonnie called pork rinds, meat skins. She called those chips. Her and Beckett both. That to them, that's a chip, is a pork skin. Right? Because we never had potato chips in our house, not even an option. Sometimes they'll get some cashews, and they love those. They're crunchy, and they don't cause much inflammation in them because they're young and resilient. They've never had other crunchy snacks like most kids. It's just in the pantry all the time. It's in the fridge all the time. You just go get it whenever you want to. So you're in charge, Eleni, of buying the groceries, right? I'm assuming that your 12-year-old and 4-year-old don't drive, and they don't have a credit card, and they don't buy the groceries. So each time you go, you're going to buy less junk, more real human food. And always lead with the meat. Let's eat our meat first, then we can have whatever else that we happen to have. And for us, that's worked great. And I think that'll work great for you too. Rebuilder says, do you have a suggestion for someone with Parkinson's? Yeah. High fat, meat heavy, real whole food keto. I have to say that now because there's so much keto bread and keto cake out there. Keto's real whole food. So high fat keto, high fat ketovore, or high fat carnivore. Those are the diets I would recommend for somebody with Parkinson's, someone with Huntington's, someone with Alzheimer's. If you or someone you love have any kind of neurological disease or autoimmune disease, you need to eat high fat, real whole food keto, high fat ketovore, or high fat carnivore. And if you don't know what one of those means, I've got YouTube videos on my YouTube channel that you can watch and learn. What is keto? What does that even mean? What is ketovore? What does that mean? Just search for it in the YouTube, Dr. Barry Ketovore, and you'll find it. It's good questions here. Okay, here's a great one. Family Roots Farm. I have a stubborn 9-year-old that will just refuse to eat. My other 3 are doing great, but my 9-year-old will not give in. So here's the thing. Your 9-year-old, although stubborn, which is a sign of intelligence, so don't be upset by it. That's just a sign of a strong-willed, intelligent child. Your 9-year-old is hardwired to eat when they become truly, truly hungry. And remember what I said earlier, you make the bacon and eggs. And if they're like, I don't want bacon and eggs, you say, okay, honey, that's fine. Go play. So when your 9-year-old's like, I don't want to eat that meat or the eggs or the fish or whatever, just say, that's fine, honey. Don't get upset. Don't yell. Be like, okay, go play. And just let them do that. And they'll be like, okay, I'm not in trouble. No, go play, baby. You don't have to eat. Yeah, it's fine. I've done this with Beckett before because sometimes he's like, I don't want steak. And I know he loves steak, but he's just being contrary. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Go outside and play. So usually within 30 minutes, I always save his steak. I always save it. I always save his bacon and eggs. And when he gets truly hungry, all children are hardwired. Okay, this is not optional for them. They can't just be so stubborn they starve to death. That's not possible. That's literally impossible. When your 9-year-old gets hungry, truly hungry, they'll eat whatever's on the table. They'll eat whatever leftovers you got. They will eat out of a garbage can if they get truly hungry enough. So don't yell, don't push, don't be a carnivore militant. You don't have to do that. Just be like, it's fine. Go play, baby. When you get hungry, it'll be here. And before you know it, and what'll probably happen if your 9-year-old's like Beckett is he or she will sneak into the kitchen and eat the meat when you're not looking because they don't want you to be right. Some stubborn kids are like that. I used to be like that. But your 9-year-old is not going to get malnourished from being stubborn. That's not going to happen. Okay. It's going to be somewhere between 30 minutes and 3 hours. Your 9-year-old will be back in there like, did you save any of that? And be like, yeah, baby, I put it right over there for you. You can eat it right now if you want to. Boom. Problem solved. All right. These are some good questions you guys are asking today. Let's see. Here's a question from Lorenzo. My mom is a vegetarian and will never change, unfortunately. Can you suggest the best approach for her? Please, I want her to feel better. Yeah, no, I totally get it. Lorenzo, so the word vegetarian has many different definitions, as you probably know. Vegan means you only eat plants and that's it, nothing else. But many vegetarians will eat some fish or will eat some eggs or will eat some dairy, some cheese. And so for your mom, the more eggs you can get in her mouth, the healthier she'll be. The more fish that you can get in her mouth that's not breaded and not fried in a seed oil, the healthier she'll be. The more dairy, if you can get real full fat, fully fermented cheese, if she'll eat that, that's going to have a lot of nutrition in it. Then the slippery slope, the next step is, well, mom, could you just eat some chicken? And if not, then just most people don't, it doesn't hurt their heart to eat fish because it's obvious fish are not, they're not cognizant. They do not have self-awareness. They're just basically biological machines. Eating fish, you're not hurting anybody. Fish don't take care of their babies. They don't nurse their babies. They just squirt them out and then swim off, and they never think about their babies again. They're just biological machines. And if you can convince her to make fish a significant part of her diet, and then shellfish, mussels, oysters, crustaceans, these things, they don't take care of their babies. They don't nurse their babies. They don't have a face. They don't recognize any being on planet Earth as their mother. They don't have that kind of mental capacity. They are not sentient. And some vegans will say they are, but that's just obviously immature thinking. If you could get her to eat some oysters or some kind of shellfish or mussel, if you could get her to eat some crustaceans, you're going a long way towards feeding her body and brain. And then she's still going to have to take a handful of supplements every day because she's not eating enough meat. Great question. Thank you very much, Blue Diamond. Here is Marina. What is your opinion on sauerkraut and pickles and cooked mushrooms? Thank you. I think if the sauerkraut is truly fermented, it's much less inflammatory than eating raw cabbage. If the pickles are truly fermented, Bubby's is a brand. They actually have fermented pickles. If you let the jar sit out on the counter and don't refrigerate it, the jar will eventually explode and you'll have pickles all over your kitchen because there's actually living bacteria in there. Kimchi, there are many other fermented foods. And when you ferment them, it actually makes them much less inflammatory. So many people can enjoy truly fermented vegetables because it makes them less inflammatory. And then I think cooked mushrooms, I would never eat a raw mushroom, but cooked mushrooms are not very inflammatory to many people. Great question. And here is DKD. Do you still see patients? Can I make an appointment? I do still see patients. I have about probably 150 people that I'm still their primary care physician, but I'm not accepting new patients at this time because I'm very busy with many, many other projects like this documentary that I had to fly out to LA and film, this YouTube channel, all the social media that I'm trying to reach out and help people get healthier. We have a private community where basically it's like I'm your primary care doctor. I don't write prescriptions in our private community. I don't do procedures. I don't do referrals, but they can literally get every nutrition question answered by me. Every medical question they have, I'll answer. Every medication question they have, I'll answer. And so being a member of our private community is as close as you're currently going to get to me being your doctor, but you literally have access to me. I will answer your questions. I do 4 hours of live Q&A inside of our private community each and every week. And coming up at 5 p.m. Central, I'm going to be live in our private community answering questions for a solid hour. And then at 6 p.m. Central, I'll be doing a Zoom call with our upper tier level members. They literally can get on a Zoom call with me and ask me their questions. And so if you need something like that, I can't be your doctor, but I can be your guy inside of our private community. The website is phdhealth.community. Let me see. I think I have that so you can see it on the, and also if you'll just go to drbarry.com and then click on community. I thought I had, oh yes. And another way to get to it is phdhealth.community. And that'll take you straight, and you can sign up and you can actually ask me your questions in an hour and 10 minutes if you'd like to do that. That's absolutely an option for you. That's not mandatory. You don't have to do that. But if you want to, you can do that. All right, let's do some more questions here. We've got a few minutes left. Now's your chance, guys. If you've got a question for me, this is the moment you need to ask it. Oh, Laura says your community, that's the private community, is great, but it's overwhelming. I wish it were broken into smaller groups or something. Well, guess what, Laura? Nisha, my wife, is working on that right now to break it up into more manageable groups and chunks and make it easier to find all the different things, because there's so many things inside of our private community. We've got Chris Cooking Nashville. He does cooking tutorials in there. I do 4 hours of live Q&A every week in there. We have 10 PhD or 10 Primal Health certified coaches in there who answer questions. And also, if you want to make a deal with one of our coaches and say, hey, I want you to be my private one-on-one coach, you can make a deal with our coaches, and that's a side deal. I don't get any of that. I don't get a cut of that. That's just something we allow our coaches to do. They can be your private coach if you need a one-on-one coach. There's so many things in there, Laura, but Nisha is working on right now making it much easier to navigate and much easier to see all the value that you can get out of the community. Pam says, what about soya milk and tea? Small amounts, thank you. Well, so I could change the term soya milk into poison. What about poison in tea? But just a small amount of poison. Well, if it's a tiny enough amount of poison, it's probably not going to cause any harm. Soya milk is full of phytoestrogens. It's full of carbohydrates, which break down immediately into sugar. I don't recommend soybean in any way, shape, or form. The least bad way that you can consume soy, if you're starving to death and you're like, it's either eat soy or starve to death and die, then fermented soy is much less inflammatory, much less unhealthy. But that's only if you're in a situation where you're starving to death. Okay, here's Donald. Donald says you need AI to help you with your groups. That's one of the things that's coming. We already actually have a 24-hour-a-day virtual Dr. Berry. If you're part of the pro group, the upper level, it's an AI that's been trained on every single one of my YouTube videos. It literally has memorized every answer I've ever given on every YouTube video. And it's also read all 3 of my books, Lies My Doctor Told Me, Common Sense Labs, which there's a new edition coming out in a few months, and Kicking Ass After 50. The AI has read all 3 of those books. And we've also trained it on some other books that some of my friends have written, like Professor Ben Bickman, Dr. George Eade, Dr. Chris Palmer. So at 3:30 a.m., you wake up in the middle of the night with a burning question to ask me. I'm in bed asleep. I'm sorry, I can't help you. But the virtual Dr. Berry, you can ask it, hey, I've got, I had my gallbladder taken out, and I also have low thyroid. Is it safe and okay for me to eat keto? And not only will the AI answer your question, just like I would answer it, but it'll also give you links to the YouTube videos where I talk about that are time-stamped at the spot where I talk about that. So if it's an hour-long live Q&A like this one, you don't have to watch the whole thing. The AI will take you to the 17-minute and 30-second mark where I talk about your question. How cool is that? And that's inside of our private community, and that's live right now. But we do have some other AI features going on. So if you're like, hey, I really like the idea of that, asking AI Dr. Berry questions when Dr. Berry's out in the pasture working on the farm or when he's in bed asleep, phdhealth.community. That'll take you straight where you can sign up. And then in an hour, I'm going to be live answering questions in the group. You can be part of that. And instead of 3,277 people asking me questions, there'll be about 200, and I can answer many more questions in much greater detail in the private community. So if you need that kind of assistance, if you need that kind of help, that's where you go to get it. All right, beautiful. Now let's see if there's any questions here that I need to answer. Flow State, it's kind of like Patreon, but much, much better. Okay, it's phdhealth.community. We use the Mighty Network platform. That's what it's built on, and it's much more easy to understand what's going on than Patreon. I used to be on Patreon, and I migrated off of it. Let me find one more good question here, guys. Now's your chance. Type that question in. Patrick says he's an expert in AI. Please let me help you out. Hey, Patrick. If you'll send an email to support@drberry.com and just tell them you're an AI expert, send a copy of your CV or your resume, and we'll be in touch. Is tofu, Junie, is tofu fermented? It's made of soybean. Is it fermented? If it is, it's much less harmful for you to eat it. If it's not fermented, you don't need to touch it. Unfermented soybean is very inflammatory. So here's a question from RC. RC most likely hasn't been on carnivore for very long, because one of the main things carnivore makes better is bloating. A lot of people, if they've been vegan or vegetarian, are eating predominantly plant-based. And if you're eating a standard American diet, you're eating a 70%, 80% plant-based diet. Did you know that? If you're eating standard American, just whatever right now, just track what you eat for the next 3 or 4 days, and you'll be like, holy crap, 80% of what I ate was plants. Only 20% was meat. That's what the average American's eating. Yeah. So what happens for the vast majority of people who have bloating is when they go carnivore, the bloating goes away. Now, for some people, it goes away within a day or two of starting carnivore. For some people like RC, it takes 2 or 3 weeks for the bloating to subside and go away. But there's nothing there's nothing in a carnivore diet that inflames your stomach or your intestines. There's nothing about carnivore that makes you bloat. You've still got some leftover bacteria from your old way of eating, RC, that just haven't packed their bags and left yet. That's what's going on with you. All right, let me find one more good question here, and then we will be done for today. So this is Privat, says, what about a HIIT workout on a bike? HIIT stands for high intensity interval training. You can do it on a bike. You can do it in a swimming pool. You can do sprints. You can do it lifting weights. I do it almost every day out in the pasture with a chainsaw, cutting down trees and then flipping the trees into brush piles. You can do high intensity interval training. And that means you basically exerting 100% effort for anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds. And then you take a break. And I do it on the farm. You can do it in the gym. You can do it in your living room, literally with some weights that you bought at Walmart. Okay. So yeah, high intensity interval training is the way to go. All right, guys, that does it for this episode. It's not too late to share this, because you got some friends who want to see that teaser trailer. Share this, click the share button. It's right down there in the corner. Share it on your favorite social media so that everybody gets a chance to see the teaser trailer for the Animal Carnivore documentary. Thanks, guys. See you next time.